Hello, my dear listeners. Today I'm taking you to Australia's mangrove forests, right into the heart of an ancient dinosaur's living territory. You are over 7 meters long, 1,000 kilograms of pure muscle mass with bite force stronger than even a T-Rex. You are a living legend that has survived for 200 million years. The time that wiped out the dinosaurs only made you stronger. Today, you still rule the waters as this silent hunter, striking fear into everyone who dares approach your territory. You hatched during the wet season in Australia's Northern Territory. Your mother, a 6-meter apex predator, had been guarding your nest for 90 days. You emerged as a 28-centimeter hatchling, already perfectly designed for survival in the world's most dangerous waters. Your first challenge was the journey to water. Every step was a death trap. Birds of prey, monitor lizards, even other crocodiles saw you as an easy meal. But you had something they didn't: prehistoric instincts honed by 200 million years of evolution. By the way, you can determine the topic of the next video by commenting one of the animals that will appear at the end of the video. Your mother carried you in her massive jaws, the same jaws that could crush a buffalo, now gently transporting her offspring to safety. Those 65 razor-sharp teeth that would one day terrorize the entire ecosystem were your first protection. Your baby teeth were already 1 centimeter long and perfectly sharp. At just hours old, you could deliver a bite force of 200 newtons, enough to crush small fish bones. You were born to be a killer. At 6 months old, you measured 60 centimeters and weighed 3 kilograms. Your jaw had grown to accommodate 64 teeth, each one a perfectly engineered weapon. Your hunting instincts were developing rapidly. Your first real prey was a fish twice your size. You learned the fundamental crocodile technique: patience. You remained motionless for 2 hours, looking like a floating log until the perfect moment. Then, you struck with lightning speed, 0.2 seconds from attack to capture. Your nictitating membranes allowed you to see underwater while protecting your eyes. Your nostrils and ears had valves that sealed shut during dives. You could hold your breath for 15 minutes even as a juvenile. Evolution had made you the perfect aquatic predator. Your skin was already developing its legendary armor, bony plates called osteoderms that would eventually stop bullets. Each scale was a piece of living chainmail, making you nearly invulnerable to attack. Your tail was your most powerful weapon. Even at this young age, it could generate enough force to stun prey and propel you through water at 25 kilometers per hour. You were already faster than most fish. At 2 years old, you reached 1.5 meters and weighed 25 kilograms. Your bite force had increased to 2,000 newtons, stronger than a great white shark. Your territory was expanding, and with it, your confidence. You claimed your first serious territory, a 2-kilometer stretch of river with perfect ambush points. The mangrove roots provided cover, the tidal flows brought prey, and the deep pools offered safety. This was your kingdom. Your first territorial battle was against an older juvenile who thought he could intimidate you. He was wrong. Your death roll, that legendary spinning technique, broke 3 of his ribs and established your dominance. The move generated 1,500 kilograms of rotational force. You discovered your incredible patience. You could remain motionless for 6 hours, looking like a fallen log, waiting for the perfect moment. Your metabolism was so efficient, you only needed to eat once a week. This patience would become your greatest weapon. Your senses were supernatural. You could detect vibrations in water from 1 kilometer away. Your eyes were positioned to see above water while your body remained hidden. You were the perfect ambush predator. At 10 years old, you reached 4 meters and weighed 400 kilograms. Your bite force peaked at 16,000 newtons, officially the strongest bite in the animal kingdom. Your jaws could snap a small boat in half. Your territory now spanned 50 square kilometers of rivers, mangroves, and coastal waters. You ruled both freshwater and saltwater environments, a unique ability that made you unstoppable. No other predator could challenge your dominance. Your hunting technique had become legendary. You perfected the high walk, lifting your entire body off the ground to chase prey on land. At At 400 kilograms, you could still run 17 kilometers per hour and leap 2 meters vertically out of water. Your teeth were now 7 centimeters long and replaced themselves every few months. You went through 3,000 teeth in your lifetime, each one a perfect killing tool designed by millions of years of evolution. Your stealth was supernatural. You could approach within 2 meters of prey without creating a single ripple. Your eyes, nostrils, and ears aligned perfectly to remain hidden while monitoring everything above water. The waterways belonged to you completely. Every creature that entered your domain understood the hierarchy. You were the apex predator, and everything else was potential prey. Sharks avoided your territories. Even bull sharks, known for their aggression, gave you wide berth. Your 16,000 Newton bite force could crush their cartilaginous skulls like eggshells. You were the only predator they feared. Large mammals learned to respect your power. Water buffalo, wild boar, even young elephants fell victim to your ambush attacks. Your technique was simple but deadly. Grab, drag underwater, death roll until drowning, then store the carcass until tender. Birds that flew too low discovered your explosive power. You could launch your entire 400-kilogram body 3 meters out of water in 0.3 seconds. Herons, pelicans, and even flying foxes became surprised meals. Your underwater vision was perfect. While other predators struggled in murky water, you could see clearly 10 meters ahead. Your tapetum lucidum reflected light like a crocodile flashlight, making you a nightmare in dark water. At 25 years old, you had reached sexual maturity and were ready to pass on your prehistoric genes. Mating season brought new challenges. Other males who thought they could claim your territory and your females. The battles were epic. 2 5-meter crocodiles colliding at full speed, each wielding 16,000 newtons of bite force. These weren't fights, they were catastrophic collisions between living submarines. The sound carried underwater for kilometers. You won every battle through superior size, experience, and technique. Your death roll could generate 2,000 kilograms of rotational force, enough to disorient any rival. Defeated males retreated with broken bones and shattered pride. Your nesting sites were chosen with 200 million years of wisdom, hidden locations with perfect temperature and humidity, close to water but safe from floods. Your offspring would inherit the best territories. Building the nest was engineering mastery. You constructed a 2-meter mound using vegetation that would decompose and generate heat. The temperature determined the sex of your young. You controlled the future generation through precise construction. At 35 years old, you had reached your full potential, 6.5 meters long, 900 kilograms of pure predatory perfection. Your bite force had reached its maximum 16,760 newtons, strong enough to bite through steel cables. Your reputation spread across 3 river systems. Fishermen told stories of the river devil who could sink boats with a single tail slap. Your legend grew with each impossible kill, each vanished prey animal. Your hunting success rate was 95%, higher than any other apex predator on Earth. Your combination of patience, power, and precision made you unstoppable. No prey that entered your territory had a realistic chance of escape. Your territorial control was absolute. You ruled 200 square kilometers of interconnected waterways. Rangers used GPS trackers to monitor your movements, creating crocodile warning zones that saved human lives. You had survived countless challenges, droughts that dried your rivers, floods that swept away your territories, cyclones that devastated the landscape. Each disaster only proved your incredible adaptability. At 50 years old, you were ancient by most standards, but for a saltwater crocodile, you were entering your prime. Your size peaked at 7.2 meters and 1,100 kilograms, making you one of the largest predators on Earth. Your bite force reached legendary status, 17,000 newtons. Scientists came from around the world to study your jaw mechanics. You had become a living laboratory of prehistoric power, unchanged for 200 million years. Your territory was now protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, partly because of your presence. You were the apex predator that kept the entire ecosystem in balance. Without you, the rivers would collapse. By the way, don't forget to follow our one and only real Instagram account. You can reach the link from the channel description. Tourism boats brought visitors who paid fortunes just to glimpse your massive form. You were worth millions to the local economy, yet you remained completely wild and untamable. Your offspring dominated waterways across northern Australia. Your genetic legacy lived in dozens of descendants who inherited your size, strength, and prehistoric instincts. You had built a dynasty. At 60 years old, you were a living legend spanning multiple human generations. Aboriginal elders told stories of you that went back 50 years. You had become mythology made flesh. Your hunting technique had reached artistic perfection. You could calculate water currents, prey behavior, and timing with supernatural precision. Each kill was a masterpiece of predatory evolution. Your size attracted challenges from younger males, but your experience trumped their enthusiasm. You knew every current, every hiding spot, every weakness in your territory. Age had made you cunning beyond measure. Climate change brought new challenges, rising seas, changing rainfall patterns, shifting prey migrations. But you adapted as your species always had. You were evolution's ultimate success story. Your metabolism had slowed to near-suspended animation. You could survive an entire year without eating, living off stored fat and prehistoric efficiency. You were the ultimate survivor. At 70 years old, you were officially ancient, older than most trees, older than human civilizations. Your species had seen the rise and fall of entire geological ages, and you embodied that immortal wisdom. Younger crocodiles showed you respect bordering on reverence. Your massive size and scarred hide told stories of countless battles, survived disasters, and prehistoric glory. You were a living fossil. Your territory had become a sanctuary where researchers studied your behavior to understand crocodile evolution. Every movement you made contributed to scientific knowledge about your species' incredible success. You had witnessed environmental changes that would have destroyed other species. Coastal development, river pollution, climate change. You adapted to everything. Your survival proved life's incredible resilience. Your bite force remained devastating even in old age, 15,000 newtons of crushing power. Your jaws, worn by 7 decades of use, could still snap a grown crocodile in half. Age hadn't diminished your deadliness, but that day started like any other. You were patrolling your territory, the same waters you'd dominated for 70 years. The morning sun warmed your ancient scales as you glided through the mangroves with the grace of a living submarine. Then, you noticed something different. The water tasted strange, metallic. Industrial chemicals from upstream development had been slowly poisoning your domain for months. Your incredible immune system, which had survived plagues and catastrophes, was finally overwhelmed. You felt your legendary strength beginning to fade. Your 17,000 Newton bite force weakened. Your lightning-fast reflexes slowed. For the first time in 70 years, you experienced vulnerability. You returned to the sacred pool where you'd made your first kill as a juvenile. The place where your legend began would be where it ended. You had come full circle in the endless flow of time. As your prehistoric heart began to slow, you realized that even perfect predators must face the one enemy that never loses. You had defeated every challenger, survived every disaster, outlasted every threat, except time itself. You had ruled the waters for 7 decades, bridged 200 million years of evolution, and proved that some legends never truly die. Your legacy would flow through these waters forever. Life is a river that flows only one direction. But the greatest predators choose how they navigate those final waters.